Thank you for tuning in to Love in Your Hands with Cynthia Clark, the podcast about how to live life with love. This podcast is sponsored by loveinyourhands.com, the place to go to find long-lasting love using the most innovative and accurate algorithm based in scientific palmistry. Tired of superficial connections? Start your free soulmate connection membership today at loveinyourhands.com. Now here's your host, Cynthia Clark, palm reading consultant and compatibility expert. Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Cynthia Clark, and I am so excited to talk about today's topic. We're going to start out with a beautiful look at our hands because, of course, I love to start out every show with a little palm reading lesson. And believe it or not, you actually have a line in your hands that, of course, relates to your emotional system. And we call that the heart line. So most people have heard of the heart line, and they think of that as their love line as well, but really it's all about your emotional flow and how you relate to others emotionally. And there's a variation on this line that I like to call the flirt lines, which is so cute to see if you have this marker. So take a look at your hand. First of all, let's identify where is the heart line. It's actually up here at the top of your hand, so just underneath the fingers. It's a major line, so it should show up really nice and strong. It starts underneath the little finger and it heads towards either the middle finger or the index finger, depending on the type of heart line that you have. And if you happen to have at the end of your line a little spray of lines, okay, so in other words, a bunch of forking, that is what we call the flirt lines. And what that means is that emotionally speaking, you can have multiple ways to connect to people. Okay, so somebody with flirt lines can morph their emotional response based upon who they're with, which is actually quite a great gift. But beware, because you can get caught in that as well. And sometimes you might actually forget, like, well, what am I actually feeling? Because you're so busy trying to like react to how the other person is feeling. But it is considered a positive mark in the hand because it shows that you can connect with people on different emotional levels. So that is today's palm reading lesson. And now I'm excited to bring in our very special guest today. We are bringing in Kim Seltzer, who also has a podcast, by the way, and everybody should go listen to it. It's the Charisma Quotient. It's an amazing podcast. So she is a therapist, a certified style and confidence coach, a dating coach, and a matchmaker. She has helped thousands of people find lasting love and connection, attract success, and build valuable relationships using her unique confidence makeover process. Using an outside-in approach, Kim has changed lives by changing their style, emotional, and social intelligence using her signature formula, the Charisma Quotient, working on body language, first impressions, image, and messaging, and how it impacts attraction. So I'm so excited, Kim. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to be here. And it was so fun that we met at the New Media Summit.
I know.
Right?
So much fun. I'm so glad I went to that.
I know. Talk about connections. I always say like that. There's nothing like the real thing. We get so caught up in connecting with people virtually. You know, I always encourage people to get out and do like real life connections. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I forget how great this is. And so it was so great meeting you in person. And yeah, so much synergy with what we do. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you even get into this in the first place? Can you give us a little background?
Well, how long do we have? I have the long version and I A little more, I can do a condensed version.
Yeah, let's do the condensed
The
version.
condensed version. Well, and I'm glad you asked this first because, I always kind of chuckle when I listen to my bio being played back. And although it's great and I've helped people and I feel so blessed that I've had amazing opportunity, the real reason why I got into all of this is because of my own story, my own transformation. It's why I'm so passionate about doing what I do. Um, so the condensed story is, once upon a time in a land far, far away named Chicago, that's where I'm from, I kind of led this traditional life, right? And this is where I practiced as a therapist for many years. I had the picket fence, I had the traditional life, suburban life, the husband I even had back then, and the dog and the kids. I still have the kids. But one day we all kind of picked up and we moved across the country to here, La La Land. And I joke, we land here and we do what everyone else does here, that is get a divorce. Obviously there were other issues, right, going on in this little
Yeah,
fairy tale.
sure.
But really that's where my life completely changed. I would say the record stopped at that moment, and the life that I thought I was going toward, that path that I was taking, it was like nothing looked the same. Nothing was supposed to be this way, right? That's what I kept
Mhm.
saying to myself back then. And when you go down a path, there's usually like a fork in the road at some point, and you can go down one path that probably leads you to a not so good place. And then there's one that you can kind of start seeing the light. Well, I have to say, I was going down the dark path, and my clothes reflected it. So back then, if you were to see me, I was in, big oversized black clothes, hiding from the world. I still had my nursing bras on. Mind you, I was not nursing any longer. My kids were older, but and it just showed you kind of how stuck I was, both in my clothes and my mindset. Now, the funny thing about this story is that up until then, as a therapist, I believed that you had to work from the inside out, that you had to do a lot of work on yourself in order to shift and change. So I had a great support system. I got myself some help. My family rallied around me, but I still couldn't get out of my own way. And I'll never forget the moment that changed my entire life and the course in which I help people is I looked in the mirror one day and I just hated what I saw. Like it just like it was like the mirror shattered in front of me. And I was like, who is this person? Like, what have I become? So I just got so fed up that I went shopping. This is literally what happened. I went shopping because I was sick of the clothes. I was sick of feeling this way and looking at myself. So I'm in the store and all the stuff that I normally buy, I'm doing it again. We normally repeat our habits, right? So I'm
Yeah.
pulling all the black clothes, 3 sizes too big. And this woman, she's watching me and she said, ma'am, I really think you should try this on. And I look at it, it's a red dress and it looked like 3 sizes too small. I said, that's really sweet of you, but that's not my size and that's really not my color. She said, honey, that is your size, that is your color. Try it on.
Wow.
Just like that, right? And I call it my red dress moment. And as I fell unconscious and I became conscious again after she hit me over the head with that red dress, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. So I put it on and I twirl around like Cinderella and I look in the mirror and I couldn't believe what I saw. It was like all those pieces on the ground that were shattered all of a sudden came into one mirror again. And I see myself, I'm looking at my reflection. I'm like, wow, I haven't seen myself like this.
Mm.
And so I bought that dress that day and I walked out into the world and everything started happening. Like everything you read in the bio started happening. My confidence started growing. Men started noticing me, new opportunities started knocking on my door, and my confidence grew. And I realized there was this symbiotic relationship between the outer and the inner. And that's most often you have to see something, you have to feel something in order for it to go inward and shift. So this is where my business was born. And now I believe, and what I do today is working from the outside in and helping people look and feel their best so they attract what they want. So whether that's styling people and doing makeovers, whether that's giving advice and putting them people into action, whether that's going out and doing wing gal sessions and helping them get their flirt on. Maybe I need to add some lines in their hands now that I heard your intro. But whatever that is, it's putting people into action so they can see something different. And that's when change happens.
I love that concept because you're so right. If we are dressing horribly, I mean, that's just not going to work. It's not going to attract a partner for sure. So,
Right. Well, and the thing is we can't see ourselves, like and it was only till that I had that epiphany, that moment when I finally saw myself. And I see this with clients a lot, right? Like sometimes people will hire me for dating advice or, help me find my soulmate, that kind of thing. But they're not seeing that how they're marketing themselves is actually preventing them from finding love. The way that they're putting themselves out there in ways of first impressions, body language, the way they dress, their messaging. And so what excites me about this, I can hear your audience rolling their eyes almost like, oh, this is so superficial. And, if a man doesn't like me for me, then forget them. But this isn't about changing who you are. It's about marketing yourself so that a person gets to know who you are. Because often it can be incongruent. Like, how often are you passing up opportunity because you're not turning your cab light on? How often are you passing up opportunity because you're not dressing as a sexy woman, because you're not feeling like a sexy woman? And so this is what it's all about. This is not about the man. It's not about the woman. It's about you and how you feel about yourself, how you put yourself out there.
right. And I have to say, one of the best things that happened to me, it was actually with um, what I consider my fatal attraction relationship. He actually did something really awesome for me, and I'm forever grateful. Is he had me fix my teeth. And
Oh,
I used to have a pretty big overbite, and I had braces when I was 15. But if you don't keep like that retainer in all that time, like your teeth will go back to,
right.
and so this is what happened to me, now that I'm older. My teeth had reverted back to the big overbite, and I had some, big fangs. I kind of looked really
Right.
horrible. And one of the things he told me was, you really should think about, Invisalign and getting your teeth straightened. And at the time I was like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to even smile, because I was really self-conscious about it. But I didn't realize, and I love how you're talking about this. It's like, well, yeah, it can be subconscious, and I was subconsciously not confident because of my teeth. So I did end up getting them fixed, and it only took me, maybe a year and a few months or whatever. It wasn't a huge amount of time. It was a little bit of time. But now it's like, yay, I have this great smile. And of course, my new husband is benefiting from it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that story. And in so many ways, because, what you're indicating, and this is what I see happen with clients, I see happen to me, is it's a domino effect, right? Like it started with your teeth, but it was so much more than just the teeth,
Yeah.
right? It affected your smile, and which affected the way people perceived you, which affected the way you took in those messages from other people and how you felt about yourself, right? And so everything kind of is almost intertwined and connected.
Mhm.
And I see this even with just, putting somebody in a dress for the first time, or wearing heels, or, I dress men too, and putting men into something they feel confident and more alpha energy that exudes from them. So I, I love this because it's something tangible. It's something that people can do where they see immediate results. Your Invisalign took a little bit longer, like you said, but as it was like a marination process. Same with my red dress, by the way. It wasn't like I automatically became this like sexy femme when I walked out of the store. I mean, I had to get comfortable being seen too. And so there was a process with that. But I hope that everyone can hear this as a hopeful thing, as a positive thing that can really make a difference in the ways that people not only see you, but how you see yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the concept of you can start on the outside. You don't have to start like we're always working on ourselves. You know,
Right?
everybody talks about that and I talk about it too. So it's, it's just one of those, but it's only one place. And you literally can start anywhere really, and it's going to affect everything else. And I love how it interacts with everything else. So what a great place to start on the outside. And yeah, take a look at that smile, take a look at that dress, what shoes are you wearing? How long have you had those shoes? It's
Well, right, and especially when you're not feeling confident in an area, right? And so the way I define confidence is interesting because I don't think people define this normally this way, but I think confidence is experience. I don't believe that there's one person out there that's not quote unquote confident, not confident, because you can always find an area in people's lives where they do feel more secure and confident in. Why? Because they have more experience and they've had positive experience around it. So if somebody's not confident in dating, that usually means either they lack the exposure of dating, maybe they're like serial relationship people and they've never just dated, or maybe they've had really bad experiences around dating. So what I like about starting from the outside is it gives people that confidence that will make them then go on to the next step, right? So if you're not feeling confident walking into a bar and flirting, say, if you have a costume on, a flirt costume on, and all of a sudden guys now are starting to look at you, whereas before guys never, you know, saw you, or maybe you saw yourself as invisible. Now that you're putting yourself out there, that will help you take it to the next step to, okay, my gosh, guys are looking at me, so oh wow, I can look back and smile, and so it works in very small steps, which I think is like it's almost it's a confidence boost, right? Because what happens when you set your goals too high or you try to find something that's so out of your comfort zone, it can shoot your confidence down because that's hard to fulfill. It's hard to say, I've had women come to me and say, "Oh, just find me my soulmate. I just want my partner." I'm like, "Well, I'll help you get there, but there might be some things that you need to do along the way to get you there." And when you chunk it down into these little wins, these little mini kind of, goals for yourself, it gains confidence. And guess what? People then end up meeting their soulmate because of that.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, because yeah, I didn't meet my soulmate, and I mean, I had met him, but I wasn't confident, like you said,
Right, right.
because of my teeth. And probably a bunch of other reasons too, but yeah, that's so awesome. So, do you have any tips that you can recommend for people, like if they want to get started? What can people do to look better?
Well, you mentioned in my bio, I have this charisma quotient formula, and this is how I work with people, right? And so going from the outside in, there are three kind of secret ingredients in which I work with people on. The first ingredient being raising people's style intelligence. And what I mean by that is working on the way that you're presenting yourself. It could be your wardrobe, it could be your body language, it could be your tonality, it could be the voice. Recently, I just actually had a woman of my that I'm working with. She has very low confidence and she gets kind of anxious. She doesn't have a lot of dating experience, but she's a really low talker. And so when she's out there in the world, guys are kind of taking advantage of her because she doesn't have a voice. And so I actually hooked her up with a voiceover teacher so that she could learn to speak up and really like speak her truth and have more assertiveness in her voice. And so, no matter what it is, you ask where to get started. It really first depends on where you're struggling and trying one thing that's different than you normally do or have tried. Because here's the thing, nobody changes by staying the same. I know that sounds like simplistic, but if
Yeah.
something feels uncomfortable for you, that probably means you need to do it, because no one changes doing things they're comfortable with.
Mm.
And so if flirting, for instance, makes you uncomfortable, or wearing a red dress makes you uncomfortable, then that's where you should start. So I like to start from the tangible things, the outside, so that will help you build that confidence. Then the second ingredient to the charisma quotient is going inward and working on your emotional intelligence. And that is, how do you express yourself, how you set boundaries, how you are comfortable in vulnerability, because that's also what connects us to people. You know, if you're not comfortable setting boundaries, or you're a people pleaser, or you're dancing around things and you're not expressing your needs, guess what? That's going to attract lopsided, kinds of situations and relationships. That's what attracts narcissists or man children or whatever it is. So
Absolutely.
what you have to learn, once you have that confidence from the outside, you got to learn the tools on how to speak your truth and express your needs, because that's on you to demand more for yourself right from the get-go. And then the third is raising your social intelligence, and that is how you interact with the world. That's how you manage relationships. So that's the fun part for me. Like when people are able to fly and do an intensive with me, and I do wing girl sessions, taking them to the bar and helping them flirt, and knowing how to talk to men, and if you're a man, knowing how to approach a woman. This is the real life application that I like to have people practice, because again, if everything's up in your head and you're just sitting there talking about it in an office, that's not going to help you change. What's going to help you change is actually giving you tools to practice this in real life. So
I love
again, what I say is, if you just practice these things in these little, increments in those three areas, this is when people start feeling the results.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you've got to take it in little pieces at a time. Yeah, I totally get that. And when I had my back to my fatal attraction, I didn't know anything about dating because I was married for 19 years and I had not dated in like 22 years. So it's no wonder I attracted somebody like that. And, I think a lot of times people get really hard on themselves and they feel like they should be doing better. They feel like, oh, I should know this, I should know better. But the truth is, how could you if you haven't done it for either ever or for forever? you know,
100%. Yes.
um,
Yeah, you know what I often say to people? I say it's like a foreign language. If you never spoke German growing up, and then someone just says, "Oh, go speak German on a date. Why aren't you doing that?" Well, you never grew up with it. You never had that experience. So how are you supposed to know that? And I truly believe emotional intelligence, style intelligence, and social intelligence, those three areas, what I love about it is that these are learned behaviors, right? These are things that are teachable. No one's born with emotional intelligence. And the whole notion about charisma, which to me, all those secret ingredients make up charisma. That's what draws people to you. That's what makes you have that likability and attraction factor, is your charisma. All the research that has been done on charisma points to the same thing, in that it's something that is learned over time, either from a role model, growing up, friends. And if you just haven't learned it, it means that's exciting, because now you can have the tools to learn it. And I see this happen time and time again with my clients. It's like, I call it the charisma glow. This woman the other day, she's like, "Kim, it's so weird. Like, I don't know what's happening. All these people keep coming up to me and they're asking me if I lost weight or if I got a facial. Like, people can't put their finger on what's different about me." I said, "Oh, I know what that is. Just tell people it's the charisma glow."
I love
Because
that.
yeah, because now, like she said, these guys are starting to check her out. She's starting to get asked out left and right. Like, her friends are responding better to her, but that's because she's doing all these things to get a different result.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, it reminds me of that Einstein quote, you can't solve a problem on the same level that it was created. So
Yeah.
it's sort of the same concept. It's like you have to be at a different level in order to really solve the problem. And if we keep doing the same thing over and over again and we think we're going to get something different, it's like, hey, guess what? You're just going to keep attracting the wrong partner or not attract to anybody. So,
Exactly. And I want people to hear this is the empowerment piece, because I think so often we'll look for answers outside of ourselves. So we're like, there's no quality men, or I hate the town that I live in, or they'll look at reasons outside of why they're still single or why they keep attracting the same guy or girl over and over and over again. The truth is that those same people will continue being the same people for, unless they get help, for forever, right? And you cannot change those people. The
right.
only thing you can do is taking a look at yourself and what you're doing to attract that and change the habits and patterns so that you are creating a different result. And to me, that's the empowerment piece. And you will get a different result if you get out of that hamster wheel and start doing some things different.
Yeah. And it's probably true too that you'll end up having different friends. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you'll probably see some friends to completely drop off the the wheel, so to
Yes.
speak, because you're no longer resonating with them, or you don't commiserate with them in the same way. And it's all good, it's all just part of the process and the evolution. And
No, that happens all the time. I warn people, in fact, I said, I just want to let you know that as you start getting stronger, people aren't going to like you that way. Just beware that the toxic relationships, the people in your life who do not serve you, will not like you stronger because they like you in the victim mode. They like you being just the listener and not the expressor, and so as you start finding your voice and showing up and getting used to being seen and embracing it, setting boundaries, being in your vulnerability, the healthy relationships will rise, and actually you'll start attracting even healthier relationships, even different ones than you've ever imagined before. And the ones that are toxic will just kind of slough off. It's a shedding of things that aren't serving you, and it's a rebirth of things that do serve you.
yeah, absolutely. And when you get the heads up on that, that's always easier.
Yeah.
You realize,
FYI.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're just giving you that little heads up because it can be a little bit shocking as it starts to happen. It's like, oh, I thought this person was my best friend, and suddenly they
Yeah.
don't want to talk to me anymore. And it can be a little bit hurtful, but just knowing that you're growing and expanding can be so awesome, and you're making room for better people in your life.
Well, and the thing is, I always do like a cost benefit analysis with relationships. You hear this in the financial world, people do this, but I like to do it in terms of people, because the things that you think often are benefiting you sometimes are costing you a great deal. And so as those friendships or relationships start falling off, what I find my clients like actually recognizing is that, wow, this really isn't a friend. Like, I've been defining this person as a friend, but there's no reciprocity here. It's all me giving, 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 and I've never received. But once they start asking to receive, those people go away because they don't want you like that. So that's the beauty, is that people come into, again, their confidence and their power, and recognizing they deserve more.
Yeah, that's so great. And yeah, it's a beautiful process. So thank you for sharing your wisdom. This has been so much fun.
Oh, of course. Thanks for having me on.
So how do people work with you, and how can people reach you?
Well, the easiest obviously is to go to my site. It's seltzerstyle.com, SELTZER style.com. You can find all my information there. And again, my podcast is Charisma Quotient if you want to listen to more goodies. And actually, Miss Missy over here is going to be on my podcast, but I'm not going to reveal when. Like, people will just have to listen until you're on.
Yes.
Yeah, but Cynthia is going to be coming on. I'm super excited about that. And also, I have a gift for your audience if I can share that with them.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited because we were talking about dating and all of this stuff. And so I have an archetype quiz that everyone can take to determine what kind of dater they are and what kind of challenges that they have. But it's super fun because once you find out like your archetype, I go over tips on how to overcome that, type of archetype and challenges you might have. And this kind of came out of, realizing there were so many common things that we all share, that we all have challenges with, and that you're not alone. And knowing that this quiz was created not because I know you specifically, is because so many other people have kind of grappled with some of these challenges, but also have gotten over that. And so it's a great way of getting started, and I think a super fun thing to take. So I'll pass that on to you.
Okay, that sounds terrific. I think everybody will love that. So thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your beautiful self. And everybody, remember that you can live life with love. So get out there and do it. And we'll catch you again really soon. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to Love in Your Hands. Please rate, review, and subscribe to show your support. This podcast is sponsored by loveinyourhands.com, the place to find the secret ingredients to your soulmate. Start your free Soulmate Connection membership today using the most innovative and accurate algorithm to match you to potential long-lasting love, all at loveinyourhands.com.